tour debut for the first time in 17 shows. They're playing. D&B didn't have a tour debut for the first time in 17 tour stops. They're playing Railbird tomorrow. We're gonna talk about how they had a lack of water. Alright, let me stop. Yep, so your boy Conservist34 coming to you here from Connecticut. Mike, what's up? Mike, I am so excited that you got a flight and you're going to be going out to the Gorge. We're definitely going to meet up. We'll have to figure out the messaging here in the coming week. But for those of you who don't know, Mike is from Canada and flights are not cheap. The border by car is closed. But we have a couple of things we're going to talk about today here. First, my reaction to the show. A statement that was recently posted by Railbird. D&B's closing out that festival tomorrow. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to look forward to, a little bit of the Gorge. But we will get to some information that I just found here on social media from Railbird. But if you're going to that venue, make sure you drink water. It is extremely hot out there in Kentucky. And because of that, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated here. And so for tonight, let's flip it over to the set list. Now, as I just did in my Makeup Hey Ya remix, there was not a tour debut for this show. It breaks a streak of, this for the tour where there was no tour debut. And prior to that, there were tour debuts. You're going 17 shows into the tour. Let me just pull up this here on shows. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is show number 18. So show number 18. Oh no, wait, hold on. 15 of 17 rarity. Wait, let me count this again. Oh no, I've said this is show. Sorry, I had it right. Show number 17. So show number 17. The first 16 shows had tour debuts. That is very impressive. And tonight they don't have a tour debut, and that's okay. That's okay. And Jen and Hines, shout out to you guys out in Colorado. You guys, I know you guys had a good time at Deer Creek. Saw some of the photos you were posting recently. Nothing at the Gorge is cheap. This is true, but the flights out of Canada are crazy expensive. You can get a cheap flight into Seattle if you live near a hub airport, right? The rental cars are going down right now, but I just said the flights for Canada are going up. The flights for America's flights have actually leveled off too, because again, we have people more hesitant to travel with the Delta variant. But let's look at this set. So they start off with the Billies, the song they close out Guilford Night 2 with. And they have, they get some stuff. Now, the rare song, if we're going to pick out the rare song, there's two of them, but really the one that, you have Lover Lay Down and you have, which has been more rare on this tour, but Sweet Up and Down is a song that has not been in rotation for a while. And that's one that they brought back in 2020. as they played, and then after that, they then started bringing it back to this tour. So, but really, Sweet Up and Down is a song that to me is more valuable. Love Her Lay Down is still a great song and a rare song, but Sweet Up and Down is that song that's like, oh, sweet, that's what we've been wanting back. Love Her Lay Down has been in a bunch of the years. It's been played over the years, and it just happens that it's just rarer right now. And Mike said he's flying from Portland because it was a little cheaper. One of my buddies lives there. Okay, well that's great though that you were able to get a hookup there into Portland, drive up, and I will actually be down there. I'm not going to. There's so much crazy stuff going on in Portland. I will potentially be in Oregon for some of the trip, but I will not be going to Portland, man. There's still stuff going on. Last year they had all sorts of zones and riots and all that stuff, and people wanting to stay on the streets. So I will not be going to Portland downtown because of that. So Hines and Jen, they say no tour debut is okay, but thinking here on out or number 27 would debut. Yeah, especially here on out, it's just as an encore or even in the middle of a set, maybe we'll get it for the Gorge. But this set, I guess you could say this set, it's solid. I still think last night was better from a set list perspective. You get a Love Her Lay Down, you get a Rooftop, which is to me is a bonus. It's an asset. It was a liability when it first came out, but they did a remix. Virginia in the Rain will be the next tour debut. We'll see. That is one that the band has not played full band in a while, and Dave's done it acoustically. Maybe he'll do it. We'll have to see what happens, though. I really don't know. And Jen and Hines says, Sweet Up and Down in rotation. How good is it? I love it because what they've done with this song is they have Dave's guitar being more of a highlight. I caught it in Mansfield. And they have Buddy on the key. You can hear some of his keys on this. It has a lot of energy, but it's not Dave. It's not Tim heavy, right? Tim is playing in it. And this is a song where Tim is actually benefits this song. It's a high energy song, but it's better than some of the Big Whiskey stuff, in my opinion. Just the rhythm, the singing and all that. So you've only heard it once in 2010. Wow. 48 shows. Yeah. Because they didn't play it at they didn't play it at Deer Creek, but you guys got a lot of other stuff that the other stuff you got was pretty hard hitting Deer, especially night 2 of Deer Creek. But it's, to me, I just like it because it's a great example of how the band can build up energy and do it right. I don't like the Shake Me Like a Monkeys. I don't like even 7, although you could argue it was at the time when it came out, it was a pretty cool thing. But I just like the Sweet Up and Down take. I like the everyday songs like So Right, What You Are, that type of energy versus the Big Whiskey wall of sound, but it's too much. It's too rocky. But you do have stuff. You have a Nancy's to Warehouse, right? That's there. No information about if it was stop time or not. Maybe if anyone's there and you're watching this replay, let us know if it was stop time. When I went to Guilford, so this is the thing. For Guilford night 1, there was no stop time intro. It went Nancy's and then did the newer school right into it. But when I went to Mansfield, they just had Warehouse by itself as a one-off, and they had the stop time. And most of it was stop time. You were watching the stream. Okay, that's awesome. Awesome. So it was stop time. So Mike was watching the stream. Okay, because they didn't do the stop time in Guilford. A little surprised on that. The song spread, you have 4 Under the Table and Dreaming, 3 Crash, 3 Big Whiskey, 2 Everyday, 2 Busted Stuff, 2 Unreleased, 1 Before These Cries, 1 Cover, 1 Segue, 1 Way from the World, 1 Come Tomorrow. I will say this, I like when it came back a little more in 2019, I believe it was. But the anyone's so much to say anyone's seen the bridge too much. I'm kind of getting sick of it. I've gotten it twice already this tour. Two out of three shows I've been to. I kind of am getting sick of it. I think if it went away and came back, I may like it, but I don't know why. I mean, I guess it is something, anyone seen the bridge is funky. It's high energy. And I think that's the thing is that segue, so much to say anyone seen the bridge too much, it does get the crowd popped up and pumped up and energized. But I'm kind of over it now because I've gotten it 2 out of 3. We got it back in 19 a couple of times when I went to the Gorge and to either Mansfield or Hartford. I think it was at Hartford they did it. And it was good. When I went to Hartford, it was awesome. But I think I've gotten it so much now that it is what it is. Can we talk about Pig? Yeah, Pig was played yesterday. Pig is awesome, and I love Buddy Strong. I know you talked about this, Jen and Hines, on your social media page about the violin being simulated by Buddy, but I love it on Pig and some of the other songs. And he's been doing that over the years, but it sounds more present, even more present this year. Mike says, I think is awesome energy, but it would be nice if they went to something else after. Yeah, I agree with this. If they switched it up, right, every time they're going into it, maybe at the Gorge we'll get that. But this is a pretty, as much as there's not really there's not a stone, there's not something crazy, these sets are still solid. So what would I be looking for tonight? I would be looking for a stone. I would be looking for even if they probably wouldn't have done it, but like a drive-in, drive-out, even though they played it last night. Hey, play it 2 nights in a row. That'd be dope. No one would complain if they went to both shows. Oh, I got drive-in, drive-out too. A say goodbye. I think because it's night 2 of a 3-night run in 3 different states and 3 different regions of the country, between the coal mine, Pittsburgh, the Tidewater, Virginia Beach, and then you're going to Appalachia tomorrow. So Heinz and Jen, they've heard it 17 times. So much, anyone, too much. It's always good. It is. I just think they've been if it's been overplayed more. So John O says, I thought tonight in West Palm Night 1 were the weakest sets of the tour so far. You do have a Lover Lay Down. I guess you could make that argument looking back at the tour. Let me see, West Palm Beach. Let's take a look. West Palm Beach Night 1. This is West Palm Beach Night 1. They closed with Billy Seek Up. Yeah, this is. But they did have Lion. See, I'm a little biased. Lying in the Hands of God, and recently, I think this is. I would put this above tonight, because again, yeah, recently is another example. Hello Typical Times, aka Ron from Colorado. I would say, yeah, and this is, to me, this is the best. The only thing I would say, there's three tours I'm thinking about in the top 3. 2013 was better than anything so far. 2021 summer tour, and in the fall 2018 tour. That's the holy trinity of some of the best stuff I've seen in the last decade. Is that take everything post Caravan? I would rank that. So I would say 2013 is at the best, especially for me personally, because there was just a lot of stuff. Jimmy to end the set, that run from Jimmy to end the set. I see, but I would still give a Rooftop and Line in the Hands of God. Those are two solid ones. The Recently and Sweet Up and Down is a nice run as well. Seek Up, I would take, and then that's your opinion. But I would still take this West Palm over Virginia Beach, because you do have some dead, some clunkers in there, but I still think like Lion in the Hands of God saves that second half of it. What are we missing as far as, are you guys talking about what are we missing for this show, or what are we missing for the tour to be 2013? Because I'll say for 2013, the reason I rank it higher than this, in 2 nights in Hartford, and this was just Hartford, this wasn't Deer Creek, this wasn't SPAC, those also got great shows. In 2013 in Hartford, we got a number 34 Tees, JTR, Broken Things, Drunken Soldier, Spoon, Dreaming Tree, Best of What's Around. We got all those in 2 nights. I have not seen a weekend like that for this tour. But these are some of the best sets. I disagree with this. I disagree with this because here's the thing. Best show of the 2000, can't touch 13. If the band plays some stuff, right? Let's just say the band, like from a debut, like a set list perspective, like if they bring back Shotgun, they could top 2013. Yes, Boyd was there, but you got to remember, Boyd was also a liability as well. Boyd was offbeat. Boyd was, I still think that if they bust out, now it'd still be a lot to top it, but if they bust out a bunch of rare songs, I could care less if Boyd was there. If SPAC has a crazy run, if Gorge has a crazy run, we get a first JTR and Gorge since 2002. If we get something like that, or is it 03? Is it 02 or 03? Can't remember. But like, I don't really put that the lack of Boyd is there. If they play a great set with a bunch of rare stuff, I could care. He was on, he was hot and cold though. Yeah, when he was on, but like he was so hot and cold, and he had a bunch of bloopers. And look, he does fill in the space. He does fill in spaces that have been missed. And also keep in mind, in 2013, Tim was much louder and he's much quieter. We have Gray Street third verse. So I think we have Buddy Strong on the keys. So I think that, I guess you could make a case to say, like, I think your personal opinion, like I said, I always say, that's your personal opinion. But to me, I care less about Boyd and I care more about how tight this band is, how the sound is, and what they're playing. And if they play better stuff than 13, if we look at the set list and we get some other stuff, I could care less if Boyd's there. If we get Shotgun and Dreaming Tree, and we get What You Are and all this stuff at the Gorge. Now we're probably not going to get everything like that all at the Gorge, but if we do, screw 2013. If they can top, it's gonna be hard. But to me, it's like, look, if this band is playing at its best, like at the best moments of the tour this year, even in 2018, I didn't really care that Boyd wasn't there. I know some people do, but to me, man, like, it's the Dave Matthews Band. They played Shotgun in 2013. They also opened that little thing that night. Never going to see that again. Yeah, man, I guess and that's the thing is Alpine had some legendary sets, and they don't play Alpine. No, they definitely sounded good in 2013, but Tim was still loud. Tim was still way loud than he is now. He's switched guitars. He's switched, he's got his Gibson SG this year. He's got the Supra 16. They sounded good. 16 was hot. The chemistry was off. I don't know what shows you went to, but the ones I went to in New England, they played a Sugar Will, but 16 was actually it was, you could tell, like, that's the thing is, like, in 2016, Boyd was really, like, struggling. The chemistry was off. They had 16 had this. 16 had some great songs, right? Bismarck, and they were playing, I believe, still playing Virginia in the Rain, and some other stuff that was hot. Black and Bluebird. 18 and 19, there was definitely adjustments, but 18 and 19, they also were tighter. Like, if you think of the Ants marching post Boyd, they were on point, but they were still trying to find their sound. They still had to get Buddy introduced in, and now we look at this year, and they're great. I don't know if you've been to Poketendo TV. I don't know if you've been to a show this year. If so, let me know what shows. But like this year, even songs I don't like sound really, really solid. Where I'm like, look, I usually go to the bathroom in a song, but I'm going to enjoy it. You've never heard What You Are. Yeah, I'm chasing that too. As far as Gorge 16 was awesome. Ended there. They're about to go on hiatus. Like that. They played like that might be the end. Oh yeah, you were out there, Mike, for that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just know at the beginning, like towards the middle, like June, because tour started May. I caught him in June a couple of times. Oh, SPAC night too. So yeah, and that's the thing. I know. I think Mike said the best show will be at the Gorge. Best show of the tour will be next weekend in Washington. It could be SPAC. It could be MSG. That's the thing about this is one of the things with the Gorge that I saw in 19, and I only can speak to that. But one of the things about Gorge 2019 is they were spreading out a lot of the trash songs from Come Tomorrow across all 3 nights. So you never, in the encores weren't that good. Yeah, live tracks 44. So that Gorge Night 316. Oh, that was a great show. Yeah. But that was different than what Gorge 19 was. I mean, night 1 had the best encore. The I'll Back You Up into, I think it was 2-step. So talking 19, it was like I'll Back You Up to 2-step, I believe. And that, again, that was my first Gorge show ever. But like, there were, to me, the Gorge, look, I enjoyed it. It was probably the best D&B experience of my life. I wasn't even worried as much about the set list. Yeah, they did I'll Back You Up 2-step PNP to Rapunzel, Drunken Soldier, Liberation, right? That was night 1. But you had a Do You Remember? You had Cornbread. You had You and May, Every Day, which I guess at that time it was getting better. But so you had night 1 was pretty solid. Night 2, we had Warren guest on Cortez, and we got a Fish Tender, but it opened up with a Louisiana Bayou. It actually did have a good encore, Pig to Gray Street. But the thing is, I think SPAC, the thing with SPAC is being at both venues, SPAC can have, night 2 can have a double encore, right? There's a number 40 T's. SPAC night 2 is more of a focused show to say, look, this is the one night a year that we're going to go all out. Where the Gorge is a spread, right? So we had a Fish Tender and Cortez on night 2 of the Gorge, but you also had a Satellite. You had a Sledgehammer, which at that point it was 15 of 19. It's way too many Sledgehammers. You had a Shake Me Like a Monkey. You had a Can't Stop. Still a good show, right? But you have, if you're comparing it to the Gorge head to head, I mean, SPAC night 2, it's hard. And then night 3, we had a Watchtower one-off. Has anyone ever seen Mother Father live? No, I have not. Maybe Heinz and Jen. Have you guys seen Mother Father live? Are you guys in those 01 Was it '01 when they played it? Because I think that was the Everyday Tour. Um, yeah, 2013 double encores, 13 and 15. My favorite song thus far. What is my favorite song thus far? That's a good question. I mean, The Stone was amazing, and so was the Rolling Stones tribute. The Satisfaction, and they had the tease for Bitch. Favorite song thus far. Hartford is a great venue. DMB has to come back there. Yeah, I think I've already explained this in other. I'll do a brief thing with Hartford. The thing with Hartford is the concerts is promoters sell concerts based on percentages, right? And Hartford has a 22,000 person lawn. So the percentage of tickets sold versus the fact that the inside of the theater is pretty much sold out. And if there's empty seats, a lot of times it's just people who um, work for companies that just didn't stay the whole show or didn't want to go to the show. Because you have season seats in the boxes and some of the regular seats for Hartford. So Hartford has been moved from, it's been canceled, and they did Mohegan 2 times because the lawn has not sold well because it's 22,000 people. Deer Creek always gets that lawn full because it's Deer Creek. SPAC has a smaller lawn, and it still fills up that lawn. Alpine towards the end, I guess the lawn was a little bit less, but it still had a good crowd. People aren't traveling to Hartford like they do Deer Creek and SPAC and Alpine, for the lawn at least. And the lawn in Hartford sucks. If you're not in a certain part of the lawn, you can literally not see anything, just like SPAC, but SPAC is SPAC. It's a smaller lawn. It's upstate New York, has a higher population density. So, Albany is up there, and Schenectady, and just the upstate region, Rome, all those towns and city. And Syracuse isn't far, right? A couple hours. But anyway, the point is Hartford struggled with not being able to sell that lawn out. That's why I went from 2 nights to 1 night. If it was just about the amphitheater, they would be fine. If they didn't have any lawn, or they had like a 2,000 person lawn or 3,000 person lawn, you would still have shows in Hartford. They moved them to Mohegan because Mohegan in 2018 and 2012, I've been to every single DMB show at Mohegan Sun. I have tickets to the 2 this year. That venue sells out. It's intimate. It's smaller than Seville in some ways. So what's my favorite song? I would say The Stone. That's just my favorite song overall, right? And it opened up Mansfield. It's straight up my favorite song. So that's what I'll say is that I've heard so far is the Stone. But this show, I mean, like I said, it is what it is. Encore was pretty trash. Space Between the Watchtower, but I think overall the biggest thing, if you haven't been to a show, Poketendo, anyone who hasn't been to a show, what I'll say is this: you guys know from previous years, I'm very critical of the sets. The thing is, even the mediocre songs and selections sound better. Gray Street is a good song, and it has a 3rd verse, and I love it. I can listen to it every show for this tour and not get bored. Warehouse has the stop time intro. Boyd is playing a little more violin effects. Mother, Father, we can look that up as far as how many times it's been played. That's an everyday song. In a moment, we're going to get to Railbird just for... It's been played 7 times. Carlos Santana played electric guitar on it. Yeah, so Santana. Um, You Might Die Trying. I think You Might Die Trying is one of the best. Yeah, they debuted. JTR had Santana as well. Was when that tour he came on. I think it was called Rain Down on Me at the time, or Down the Rebel. Like it's had a couple names, but this is Mother Father Seven Times in '01. That 2001 tour is amazing. Listen to Live Tracks 31 by Live Tracks 31. It is. I played it last night on the stream. So, so you liked, yeah, You Might Die Trying. Watchtower. I can't. I don't like Watchtower. I think it was better when there was no Tim. I don't like the Tim CDC effect. I like Dave's guitar. Like when you look at Woodstock '99, when you listen to that version, I think it's better than the current version. And it's so predictable. Tim plays the same thing every time. It's just like for what? It's a wall of sound. That's what I hate about D&B. They've gone to this wall of sound. Um, all right, the woos were. I heard. We called in. If you look back at that show on my YouTube history, night 1 and night 2, but everyone I called, the Deer Creek shows, we had callers. I called people on my phone and put it to the mic, and they said the energy was out of control. They said the energy easily surpassed Raleigh, which was the first show back. So I did hear great things. I'll be at Deer Creek next year, guys. That's the plan. Is if the band does a tour, if they have a summer tour, and they go to Deer Creek, I'm gonna make my travel plans to get out there. Let's talk about Railbird, though. Now, this is just an FYI. I just wanted to share this. Okay, so this is from Railbird. This is a 3-day festival. Tomorrow, some of the people I like that are going to be there tomorrow, the Revivalists. If you haven't heard them, listen to them. Jason Isbell and Dave Matthews Band are 3 acts that, to me, are ones that I'm not going to it, but I would love to. Pokey Tendo, yeah, I know about the IEM recordings. I haven't heard them, but I've heard on the forums and stuff like that about some of the stuff they said on those. IEMs, for those you don't know, it's essentially the band has, in their in-ear monitors, they can talk to each other, and you don't hear it. You don't hear it obviously through the PA system, but they can talk to each other through the IEMs that they have in. There's some from the 2000s, early 2000s that are I've heard pretty funny. So Railbird Fest. Here's the thing. This is in Kentucky, Lexington. Is it Lexington? Yeah, Railbird is in Lexington. And so today it is extremely hot, and they did not have enough water for people. There were a lot of reports for the entry process, concessions, and operations. Richard says, Warehouse, 2 straight shows. Yeah, Warehouse, 2 straight shows, but keep in mind, these are one-offs. These are one-off shows. They didn't play Virginia Beach 2 nights. That's very common. And actually, if you look at some of the shows from like the early 2000s, they actually repeated a lot of songs on 3-night stands. Like they played the Stone 2 out of 3 nights in Hartford. I think that was 2000 for Live Tracks 3. They played it two out of the 3 shows. So, but that's not a shocker because again, it's a one-off. It's a one-off. Actually, the band is playing less one-offs in between these sets. The Virginia Beach and Pittsburgh area show yesterday, only what 1, 2, 3 repeats. Can't Stop, Warehouse, and Ants Marching. When I went to even last weekend, you got, but I mean, listen, the band's not Fish. This band's not fish. Since the dawn of time, this band has repeated. They've played like Busted stuff like 50 million times in 2000. Like that's the thing is the one thing I always have defended about the band. People are like, oh, I want them. They're repeating all this stuff. The band has repeated stuff since day one, and as they changed last night's last song, right? They did, but still, the repeating. The main thing about it is the ugly truth is this: they've always repeated certain songs across, even in 2-night stands. Go to some of the 2-night and 3-night stands. They've repeated a bunch of stuff. It's just right now, some of the songs they repeat are not as good as the catalog in 2000. In 2000, they were repeating Busted stuff. Like, let's just go to this. Let's just go, for instance, to, I'm going to pull up the 2000 and the Hartford. I mean, they played one song, I think 3 of the shows, but I think it was Busted stuff. Let's see, Meadows Music. So let's go to the Meadows Music Theater, Hartford, Connecticut. Actually, this was yesterday. This was yesterday, 21 years ago. Like, look at this show. They played JTR twice in the same, I think they played it all. They played Busted stuff all 3 nights, right? So they played JTR, repeat. The Stone was played night 1. Drive In, Drive Out was played night 1. And again, the band had a lot of songs, right? It's not like they already had their big 3 albums and they had their 2000 stuff. These were both played night 1, 2 out of 3 shows. This was one played once, 2 out of 3 shows. Wait, different venue shouldn't repeat. They're not Fish though. That's the thing is they're not the Grateful Dead. They've never been that. They've never been the Grateful Dead ever. Never been Fish. Never been Humphreys McGee. And the thing is, look, if I get stoned 2 out of 3 nights, I'm gonna be happy. I'd be going to more shows, right? If I get Say Goodbye wasn't repeated, but Grace Is Gone, 2 out of 3 shows. Gray Street, 2 out of 3 shows. Maker was new. Raven was played twice. This is a 3-night stand. Recently, was not. Busted stuff, played the night before. I'll Back You Up wasn't. Rapunzel and PMP. Now, Linus Lucy was a tour debut, but the Heart, this stuff was new, and Nancy's is also an opener. But the thing is, also keep in mind, these are different crowds. There are a few people traveling from, it's one thing if it's like, if last night's show was, if last night's show was in Bristol, Virginia, or Richmond, Virginia, even though they don't play in Richmond anymore, and then they went down to Virginia Beach, right? A bunch of people would have been at that same show, right? Because it's both Virginia. Or if it was even if it was in Raleigh, North Carolina, Virginia Beach to Raleigh is like 3 hours. So that would be something if they played those back to back. But you have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Virginia Beach, Virginia. And they repeated like I said, they repeated a couple songs. But the band historically has always repeated stuff. 06, he played Everyday Trust twice at SPAC because VC, is it Masakela? I know he had passed away a couple years ago. But that's the thing, like, that's why I said, like, oh yeah, I love Beach Bar, Richard. I'd love to get it. But one thing I'll say is I'll defend the band. They should have played Virginia in the Rain, even though it's cliche. Yeah, I mean, again, they have a rotation. They don't just that. And it didn't rain. Maybe if it rained, they would do that. And that's how the band reacts. If it rains or they have bad weather, you get a JTR. You may get a Virginia in the Rain. But Virginia Beach isn't it's a venue that the band, it's close to the band's home in Seaville. It's still a couple hours drive. It's not Seaville. But they don't necessarily do stuff for Virginia. They do something more for SPAC than they would for Virginia Beach. They do something in Hartford, in the early 2000s more than Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is just in Virginia, but it's nothing special about that venue. Or they've had a 3-night stand like they've had in some of the other popular venues. But just for Railbird, They put out this statement because some fans were they had some issues with entry and water. And again, it's the heat index was 100. Oh no, I love your opinion. Like I said, I'm always have my opinions, but I like discourse and I like debate. I never take it personally. I grew up in a family of judges and preachers. No, but I love expressing and having these conversations, and everyone has different opinions. So Railbird Festival experience today did not live up to our standards. We have made adjustments to improve entry processes and concessions operations to move lines more efficiently. Richard's on a SPAC night too. Oh, oops, I didn't. Oops. So let's zoom out. Let's go down. And then it says this. More importantly, we have sourced additional water refill stations and will supply free bottled water as needed at our refill locations. We thank you for your patience as we prepare for the second day of the festival. Also, it was just, never mind, it's not 3 days, it's 2-day festival. So here's what I heard today based on social media. I heard that for this festival, people were waiting in line for the VIP. So not just your average Joe, but someone who paid for VIP wasn't. They said there were 3 water fill stations, and people were waiting in line for an hour at the VIP, not the GA, the VIP for water. So Lord knows how bad it was for the regular GA admission. Heat index was over 100. And this is where, I think this is the thing about a festival. In this case, they only have 1 weekend to prepare for this. Who else is at the festival? So they have the Revivalists are playing tomorrow. Jason Isbell is a setup act. If we go to Railbird, it's Neyland in Kentucky. All right, so this is the setup here. So you have My Morning Jacket, Leon Bridges are the 2 main ones. Billy Strings, Black Pumas. By the way, those 2 acts, Billy Strings and Black Pumas, are 2 acts last year, and even a little before that caught my eye. 2 amazing acts that you should definitely check out: Billy Strings and Black Pumas. Midland, Margot's Price, Japanese Breakfast, and the rest of this stuff is cool. Tomorrow, the ones, like I said, the Revivalists are an amazing band that I love. They're from New Orleans. Also, I'm just praying for everyone down there in New Orleans, Alabama, Mississippi. There is a crazy hurricane coming. We had a hurricane here last Sunday, but it died down to a tropical storm by the time it came to me here in Connecticut. And if you're on Instagram, you can see a video where I played JTR. Right outside my house. Actually, I'll play it for you guys so you can see it. This was the tropical storm. Yeah, that was intense. Fortunately, we did not lose power at the crib, or just me. I live by myself. I would say who's we? No one else lives here with me. This was pretty crazy. I need to order the back no sinks here. Yeah, this was pretty wild. This thing could have been much worse. As much as it just took it's a couple. All right, so that was last Sunday. So I was sheltered in place, and I mean, like I said, the storm moved, the track changed at the last minute, and that saved us. But anyway, yeah. So Jason Isbell and the 400 unit and DMB are the two main acts. I'm guessing 16 songs. Don't I? Now here's the thing. Well, thank you, Richard. Yeah, I'm glad I'm okay too. And I've been through a hurricane. I was an RA in 2011 in a college in Eastern Connecticut and was in a dorm riding out the storm. I had a generator and everything, but it was that Sandy, or it wasn't Sandy, it was the one before that. But anyway, it was a hurricane that came through. Again, these hurricanes hit Connecticut for 99% of the time. Fingers crossed it so happens. And they die out right there. So, yeah, but DMB is probably going to play about 16 songs. I would say just, an hour and a half. They're not going to have that 2-hour, 2.5 hour thing. Maybe hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And that's where. No, I don't think two. Yeah, maybe like an hour and a half, hour 45. So they are the last act here at Railbird Fest. But anyway, if you're going there, if you're watching this and you're heading out, drink water, man. It's the humidity out there is no joke. So I would just highly strongly suggest that you guys drink water. If you're out there. So posters, you guys talking posters. So Jen and Hines, you guys got 36. Wow. Just sold the bartender from Cincy for $1,600. Oh yeah, I've seen that poster, the bartender one. Oh yeah, in Rochester. Okay. Yeah, I know where Rochester is. You guys have a hockey. I think were we talking hockey the other day? I feel like we were having, because you guys have the Rochester Americans. They used to come down. Syracuse has a minor league hockey team too. That they used to have the Crunch. But yeah, I know Rochester is between Hughes and Buffalo. Buffalo being right at that border, just south of Niagara Falls. Syracuse is in between Albany and Rochester, and on the I-90 corridor, which will get you all the way to the Gorge. So, but yeah, I'm very familiar with the upstate New York, even though I haven't been past Albany, but I just know those cities and towns. Have had people in other offices at previous jobs that worked out there. And I know the geography too. You have the 05 Yeti poster. Okay. Yeah, all I have is the one that you saw in the video. It's Hartford 2014, night one. May get one at the Gorge. And I have some other posters. I have a Billy Joel poster. I have a Government Mule poster that's right at the bottom of my screen. There. If you can see Billy Joel at the Garden, see him at the Garden. I highly suggest it. This is that's the Billy Joel right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Madison Square Garden. I'm an Allman Brothers band poster right there. From the last set of shows for the Allman Brothers band at the Beacons. Again, I have some other ones there. The tour is weird going from Virginia Beach, Burgerstown. Again, they had to reschedule. The thing is about this, they're just trying to collect their checks. They had to reschedule a lot of these shows. And also, Pittsburgh to Virginia Beach isn't like weird. I think it's the fact they wanted to add Railbird because, again, they're trying to get their crew paid. They're trying to get their money. The interesting thing is the Railbird one, but the Railbird, they probably had to they wanted D&B night too, right? But this tour, and a lot of tours, logistically, they do it as formulated as they can, but they got to find the open date and fix whatever they can get in to get in. The Raven night too. Yeah, and you had night one with the flowers. Yeah, there's so many posters. There's so many good posters like Mansfield night one. I know only Mansfield to this. Mansfield and even the Guilford posters were nice. I just passed on them. I really have a high standard for posters because my thing is I'm more of a collector of a bunch of different stuff. Now, if there's a Sperry at the Gorge, if there's a Gorge Sperry again, if there's something super Grail like it's a like best poster of the year, top 3 of the year, I'm gonna get it. But other than that, there's no real incentive unless something looks crazy, right? I just because I have other posters. I'm collecting from so many other bands. I got an Elton John poster. I still haven't framed. I have a Chris Stapleton poster. I'm flattening over there. Um, oh, you didn't make it in time. Yeah, the pharmaceuticals got you. Yeah, and that's the thing is, and if you guys go to shutupiloveyou.com, check out episode, not their latest episode, but their episode, the second to last episode. Go to that website. They actually have a conversation. I think you guys would like it, Jen and or Heinz and Jen. It's they have a conversation about do you go in early and you know you don't get to enjoy the tailgate as much, or do you prefer to look at episode 154, Tits to Spare, which is a good episode. Check out this again, shutupiloveyou.com. I'm telling you, check this out because there is a conversation about halfway through this podcast about the poster buying process. And keep in mind, it's about the options. Like, would you? Because what he also talks about is he pays for some posters double the value, or even more than that, because his idea is, look, I have the money, and I'd rather buy it from someone at double the price and not have to hold the poster the entire show. Especially with the clear bag policy and all that stuff, it's harder to get your posters secure in the backpack. You can still get them secure. You can get a clear thing to hold it, but it's tougher. So episode 154, Tits to Spare, look that up. It is, and just watch that episode again, shutupiloveyou.com. I'm somebody who I only get the posters. Oh, you gotta connect. All right. I really don't. The only poster I really want is the Gorge Sperry, and the prices are too crazy. Like, honestly, unless someone's gonna sell a Gorge Sperry for about half its value on the market, which is still a lot of money, I wouldn't even consider it. It's not worth it to me that much. And Hartford 2012 night 1, but I don't buy posters from shows I haven't been to. It's just like the same thing. I don't wear a lot of t-shirts of bands I haven't listened to in detail or bands I haven't been to. Like, I just can't do it. I feel like a poser. And I know there's some awesome D&B posters, but if I wasn't at the show, I don't want it hanging up. I just feel like it's inauthentic. And I know some people, there's a great poster. It's a Grail, Holy Grail poster, the Sweet Tea one from Georgia in the Atlanta area. Like, I know some people love those because it's art. It's still art. But to me, a concert poster, I'll get a picture of a yacht or a boat, a sailboat in my house. And I've never been on a sailboat, but I will not get, oh, you got the July 4th. Is that July 4th, 15, when they did the Grateful Dead tribute, right? Friend of the Devil. Is that Eads? Is that Eads that did that 14 one? That 14 one, yeah, that one is that's a Holy Grail. One, yeah, that 15 July 4th. Yeah, this is the July 4th. Yeah, this one is nuts. July 4th and SPAC. So Deer Creek Night 2 was vicious. I heard at Deer Creek 2, do I have any set lists? I don't, Richard. Now here's the thing. I was at the soundboard. I was the row behind the soundboard, so I could touch the railing. I could see. I could almost reach out and touch Rab if I wanted to. Here was my thing. Someone did get the set list. I could have been a jerk and tried to push for it. So here's the thing. I'm behind. Just to give you an idea. So this is where I was. See, that's right. This is where I was for Guilford Night 1. July 4th, 2015, Richard. July 4th, 15. Same weekend as the Grateful Dead was doing their final official with Grateful Dead as far as Jerry's past, Bobby, the core, Bobby, Billy, and Bob, Will, Billy, Phil Lesh, Phil, Bob, Billy, the core of the band. If you look right here, I'm at. Are you guys met? Shut Up, I Love You at Noblesville. Awesome. But let's look at this. This is where I was. See, that's Rab right there. He's streaming the Jimmy thing, right? He sees me, right? He's saying what up. He's showing us. Mickey Hart, right? Mickey Hart, yeah. But that's how close I was. If you look at that video, I literally look. That's the glass on the soundboard. I was at the corner, and to my right, nobody was sitting there at the start of the show. That's why this was my best show of filming stuff. I literally saw everything, and I got the Rolling Stones thing. Here's the dilemma though. I did not, with COVID and all this stuff, and even in general, I try not to bother people who are, like popular people, famous people. I grew up on the same street as John Butchercross. He's on ESPN Sports Center in NHL Tonight. And I just know from growing up around him and seeing some, he's not like a superstar, but he's probably one of the most well-known personalities left at ESPN, right? And in college hockey, in the NHL world, he is one of the go-to guys, right? So I grew up on the same street as him and saw him from being nothing, where he just came on a whim and got this starter home in the same neighborhood as me, to really being a superstar and really getting raises and getting money. He stayed in the same house. Now he doesn't live there anymore, but he stayed in that house even though he could have been out of there. But anyway, he's a good dude. I've skated with I've been on his but anyway, the point is I try to keep if there'll be points, like if I see Dave right somewhere, I'm not gonna be like, oh, don't talk to me. Like I'm gonna be like, hey man, I like your stuff. I may say something. I may ask for an autograph, or I may just say, hey, thank you for all you do. I saw Rab at SPAC, and he was at I could have took a picture with him, but I just said, hey man, thank you for all you do, and shook his hand. This is before COVID, obviously. Shook his hand, said thank you for all you do with the band, and just kept it moving. I try to do that more. Like not to say that, hey, I may want to get an autograph from Dave, but I just try not to be that pushy person when someone famous or someone that, in this case, Rab, has the ability to give me a set list. But I wanted to focus on the show. B, I was waving at him, trying to show him I'm having a good time, gave him some thumbs up. If he comes to me with a set list, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. The people that were below me, and this is their prerogative. Like, if this is what they do, this is what they want to do, right? But I just feel like I'd be a jerk doing it. They moved their seats. I'll pull that up here, the Raven poster. But they moved their seats from in front of, they were to the left of the soundboard. So to the left of where this is, and they moved up because they saw no one was sitting. There were 5 seats across, or 5 or 6 seats until the next person. So they moved to my right of where I'm taking this video, and they stayed there. They kept harassing Rab, and he loves the fans, whatever. He gave them a couple picks. He gave them a set list. I just didn't feel it was my place to harass Rab, especially with COVID, especially with everything going on. So I stayed there. If he would have walked up to me and be like, hey, Oh, DMB Mama's got the Raven poster. Awesome. So we're gonna pull that up here. This was a very popular poster, and as oops. Oops. Okay, sorry guys. I got all my tabs are screwed up because I have two screens. You guys can see I have this screen. That's what you're seeing, and then I have my TV screen over there to show stuff. So it's a separate screen. So I'm trying to get my tabs on the right screens. It's your boy Console Viz 34. Oh my god. What's this? But yeah, this was a nice poster. Anyway, I could have gotten a set list, yeah, but someone else got it that kind of was aggressive in front of them. But one day I'll get a set list. Oh, you have some Hartford ones. I mean, the only one is the 2012 night one, and I'm again something I'm really not willing to pay more than a little like over face. It's not the end all be all for me. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, so that's the Raven one. All right, so we have Railbird. Like I said, DMB Mamas. If you're, I know you're just coming in. We were talking about Railbird. They had hour-long water lines today at the festival where DMB's playing tomorrow. No, day one was today. Heat index over 100. It's pretty close to your Florida humidity out there. And the thing is, they don't have the breeze. But yeah, they were in Florida. I mean, yeah, you guys have a breeze, even though it's just oppressive. I've been to Florida in August, July, and August, and June, and it's brutal. But the Midwest, Kentucky is getting just sticky humidity, mud humidity, and they had hour-line water lines. So what they're gonna do tomorrow is have free bottled water. They're gonna add more water stations so that people don't get dehydrated. These are festivals that start in the afternoon and go to the night. Just after 12 noon, and then they go all the way to late at night. So just pretty scary the fact that there was a VIP area, 3 water fountains, and still an hour-long wait in VIP. Let alone the average Joe. I don't know how many fountains there were there, but they failed. They definitely failed the fans as far as that. But that is the DMB Raven poster. It's been nasty in Rochester. Today was the first day in Connecticut that it was. Let's see. Today in Connecticut, it was like 70 in the mid 70s. Oh, we're getting some rain right now. Really? I can't even see outside. Anyway, it was like the high today was 73. Before that, it was like It was like 90. Felt like 100. Oh, you sold the Cincy bartender for 600. It's a nasty post. Yeah, yeah. That's the one with the there's like taps, right? There's a bartender, and then there's like beer taps for DMB. And the bartender, isn't it like a mysterious face or like a magician type face for that one? I think I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Oh wait, yeah, yeah. So it was that. That's the. I need to cut out. Give me one minute. Cut some of these tabs out. Yeah, that's the poster, right? Yeah, so that one was very popular in one of those. All right, have a good night, Poketendo TV. All right, so all right. I mean, so tomorrow, like I said, cookie cutter set, and then they go to the Gorge. We'll see what happens. Um, this is the first three nights in a row of the tour. SPAC 2019 night two. I am not going to SPAC this year. I just have too many. I have 10 shows I'm going to. If Farm Mate is played, counting Dave and Tim. Um, yeah, counting Dave and Tim, it's 10. Oh, and D&B Mamas, check out this screensaver. This is from Mansfield. Mansfield, last Friday. It says, I love this. I love this shot. What's the boo for? You don't like Mansfield? You don't like Massachusetts? They don't have the best drivers, I'll say that. They don't use blinkers in the road. So Springfield, Massachusetts and Boston, Massachusetts are two of the worst constructed street. Where's Dave and Tim? Oh, it's the Farm Aid. The Farm Aid set. So it'll be an abbreviated set. How awesome it is to be in Connecticut. We've had Farm Aid twice in 4 years. 18 and 21. So, unfortunately, Neil Young, I'm devastated about that, man. Neil Young backed out because of COVID concerns, and I really wanted to see him again. I got closer seats than last Farm Aid and in the middle pavilion, and I was really, really hoping to see him. So I am kind of bummed about that. Dave and Tim at CMAC, they got so many shows. They could have done it. They added so many festivals, and the abbreviated summer, I think, made that tough. They had to move certain shows up. They had to fill in empty spots and plug and play. And I think that's why you don't have a CMAC show. I think next year you'll have a Dave and Tim one-off in the spring, and then you'll have possibly CMAC in the summer. But this summer tour was not supposed to happen. I was wrong. I thought it wasn't going to happen, but it did. And everything has worked out so far, knock on wood. But we'll have to see from what happens here with the tour. Let's see, run a couple of these. Christy Marie, hello. Thanks so much for the DMV videos you shared. You're welcome, man. I love recording these videos. By the time I'm at 20, let's see, I think I've been to 24 DMB, 2 Dave and Tim. I've been to so many shows that one of the things I like now is being able to share a show with other people. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad I do this for free. I don't get any monetization off this. But I'm glad you enjoy the videos. That's what I love doing. I love recording these. There's not as many people recording full videos anymore. There's people that record parts of videos, but there's not a lot of people that do it. And I just feel like there was a space in this community for me to share these videos, share these moments. Yeah, 26 total shows, 24 regular. thoughts on Hello Again. I did not want it to open the tour. I thought that was too cheesy and cliche. I do think it's a good song. I do think it's a good song. It's not one that I would pick over a lot of other songs, but I do think it is still a very solid song. There's many other rarities that I prefer over it, but it is a good song. One of the few good songs off of Stand Up as far as how it translates live. American Baby Intro, Stolen Away, You Might Die Trying, and Hello Again. Everything else could kick rocks on that album. Live, at least. But I do think it is a good song. I just didn't want it to open the tour. Anyone who knows me right before the tour, I was anti-Hello Again. The song has nothing to do with coming back. It's not even about returning after a pandemic or returning on. Again, it just has the words Hello Again in it. But I do think it's a pretty cool song. Richard, Copper Pot has been a great help to me behind the scenes. And so I know Copper Pot is what got me into this whole thing. I went to my first show in 2012, night 1, night 2, Hartford, one of the highest viewed shows that Copper Pot has up. And that show went up and I missed it. So I was so mad that I said, I'm never going to miss another Hartford show within my will of a passing of a family member or not being in town because of business. But let's see, Dave Matthews Band, 5/26/21. This was the last show that I missed. Oh, 5/26/12. Oops. Let me see. What the heck's going on here? Yeah, put it to full screen. Oh my gosh, I can't get out of this page. Let's fix that here. Here, we'll use this one. I don't know, I'll bring it up. But this is the show. If you guys want to check out a show, they've been 5/26. This was like the first Copper Pot show I saw, but I've talked to him behind the scenes and he's given me some awesome insight. This one had Beach Ball. Complete show, Hartford night 2. This almost has 1 million views, folks. It says shows new here. Following your channel since the other night. Copper Pot's amazing. Thank you for following, Christy. And yeah, glad you. Like I said, I don't know the Gorge how many videos I'm going to put up, but definitely for Mohegan Sun and Madison Square Garden night 2, I'll have more videos. Farm Aid, I probably won't because it'll be streamed live. I highly recommend you guys go to farmaid.com, watch the stream. If you have money, donate to Farm Aid. It is another passion of mine. It is not just about going to see Dave and Tim. It's a lot of what I do for Farm Aid is I actually donate to them on a quarterly basis. And the passion I have for helping local farmers is huge. But yeah, I'm glad you like these, Christy. And like I said, I just, check out. There'll be more videos to come this late fall. I guess I don't know about the Gorge, but definitely the Mohegan Sun shows I'll be taking more. But this is Copper, and I just love how he takes people's content and adds it together. Again, he's someone also, he's not making money. He's doing this because he loves the band and loves combining this stuff. And he's used He used some of my video for Butterfly. Now, back then my page was Monizo145, so he gives me credit under my old YouTube name. Same page, I just switched the name. Monizo was out of style. um, what year? This is 2012. This is 5/26. This is Hartford Night 2. So I went to Hartford Night 1. That was my first ever concert. Night 2, I was like, wait, there's 2 shows in the same weekend. I don't have the energy for this. Yeah, this is 5/26/2012. This was like, I was so mad. There was Beach Ball. There's a Lie in Our Graves. Two Step was mid set. There's a Carter intro in the Halloween, and Halloween goes into Billy's. And Dave broke a string during Tripping Billy's. Like, this was wild. This is. So it was Halloween, the nature intro, and the Tripping Billies. My friend was actually in the pit for this show. The friend who got me into D&B, I married him and his wife. His wife was my resident. His wife was my resident when I was in college. All right, now she's my age, and we all knew each other anyway. But like, it was just funny. So he married my resident, and I did their wedding. Third generation wedding officiator. My grandfather and uncle are both pastors and ministers. Two of my uncles are ministers. I have a nice little combination. I have one of my uncles served in the military and is a minister. So he actually served in Germany in the army and is a minister. And my other uncle was a minister, but he also was he worked with at-risk children in Trenton. What do I do? I'm in the process of changing careers, but I'm in insurance, auto insurance. I've done all sorts of other stuff too right now, but I'm kind of transitioning right now between stuff because I need to get a better job. So like it, but anyway, yeah, I did. I mean, the last what? Yeah, I was in auto insurance since 2017. I worked at StubHub, so I did ticket. A lot of the stuff I know about tickets is from working in that industry, and yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing But I've been out of school for 10 years. Jake from State Farm, yeah. One thing I'll tell you, if you, a couple of tips though from insurance industry, back into every parking space, park as far as you can from the entrance, as long as you can walk, and because I'm telling you, like, most accidents happen at the front of a parking lot, two people backing out. What else? Take everything down. After an accident, do not let people slide. Get as much information as you can. Take a license plate down. Humanity is great many of the times, but a lot of times they're not. So don't forget in the moment. I was actually in an accident, and they tried to pull a fast one on me. But it was long story short, I got it all resolved. But back into every parking spot, back in. I'm telling you, half the accidents were people backing out of parking spots. And if you're not fully out of a parking spot, depending on where you live, depending on your jurisdiction, if you're not 100% out of the parking spot in drive, you could be 99% out of the spot and haven't turned that wheel and someone hits you, and it could be 50-50 or 75-15. And what else? Oh, make collision coverage. If you care anything about your car, get collision coverage. If it's a car where you don't care if it gets totaled, or you don't care about the cut, like whatever, it's not a financial thing to me. You don't need collision if it's an older car. but I highly suggest. A lot of people think, oh, yeah, I don't need collision. No, no. I'm telling you, I've seen cars get totaled, and you can't. Matter of fact, because the thing is, if you don't have collision coverage, and by the way, this is just by all means talk to your own insurance company for full advice. Just as the closer, Stanford. Stanford, I'm a couple hours, no, 90 minutes. Hour 45. It just depends on the traffic, but hour 45. But yeah, back into every spot. Be defensive. Expect people to make mistakes. If you're making a left turn, you're assuming a lot of risk. Double check, triple check. It's better to hesitate and leave a lot of space in front of the car. Like a car, if you're in traffic, and make sure you do try to leave as much space as possible between, because even if someone stops in the middle of the highway for no reason and you hit them from behind, typically you're going to be 99% of the time you're going to be at fault. And then for tickets, the one thing I was talking to someone else, I don't know if it was you, Christy. Someone posted about they got tickets from Vivid Seats. One thing I'll say about the ticket industry: if you have an issue, go to social media. Go to the Twitter account for Vivid Seats. Go to the Twitter account for StubHub. If you have an issue where your ticket hasn't arrived, it's the wrong ticket, it's something's gone wrong, go to their social media. That's the fastest way you're going to get a response. They have a social media team. Have I seen the WWE headquarters? Yes, I have. Yes, actually, this kid from my high school worked for the WWE. Why do a lot of people hate on Can't Stop? Because the song was butchered. It was better slower, and it was better when it was slower, and they sped it up. Some of the lyrics, like "free the beats inside of me," it's not well written. That part of it is not well written, in my opinion. So I'm not a huge fan of Can't Stop. I like the older version, and I like the Chili Peppers version. I love that version, and I love the old school version of Can't Stop. But I really don't like the new version. My biggest thing, and I said this on Twitter, I joked about it. If you guys don't know about Kanye West is, you may hate him, you may love him, but he's one of the greatest producers in hip hop of all time. But one thing he did, he just took Jay-Z off for he is his own worst enemy. He'll cut tracks, he'll cut bonus stuff. And Dave does the same thing. Dave has a song in the Lily White sessions like Gray Street, like Big Eye Fish, that were better recordings and better versions of it. And then he made Busted Stuff. It was too commercial, right? He sped up Gray Street as well live, and he cut the third verse, the verse that means everything in that song. He cut it for a decade. Actually, over a decade, he cut it. All right. Oh, thanks, Christy. That was on the spot. I'm a little rusty. But Dave is his own worst enemy, in my opinion. He is his own worst enemy. And shout out to Sully 405. He is somebody who I always see when I was starting to record videos. He was somebody that was also in Mansfield or Hartford all the time. Right. So this stuff led to me doing, if you look at my early stuff, this video led to me, in 2013, I started bringing my camera to stuff. And so my first ever video is Green Day Holiday. And this is your boy Conservative 34 playing Dancing Nancy's. I'm playing some of the Tim stuff right here. This is so fun. That's my friend who got me to my first D&B show. My friend Pete. And then, oh, we did Seek Up too. This is actually where I met someone in D&B family, and I started to join the Facebook communities for this. This is kind of loud. Yeah, so that's me near the camera. That's my friend Pete, who does a lot of the Dave stuff. Man, he can play Dave, Stone, anything. I mean, he can pretty much play everything Dave played. He played shot. He can play shotgun, but he sold his guitar because he wasn't using the red guitar. These people were. This was a lot. This is an open mics. People were talking. I think I had a solo here. Let's see. Where is it? Is it out? It's hard to hear because it was just so loud. But then, oh, this was my first video, Running Down a Dream. This was the debut of it. This was one of the best. This is probably the best show I went to. I just started with snippets. Hey, I'm live. I should click on my own video. This was before Tom Petty died, and then he played this as a tribute to Tom Petty when he passed. 2013 is when I got to see some songs in person. Bethel Word. Oh, you worked as a cashier. Been real hooked ever since. Never saw a live band play this amazing together. Bethel Woods, is that's where where Woodstock was? Right, Bethel Woods, because I think I get him confused. Darien Lake is different. Bethel Woods is where the site of Woodstock was. And then after that, this was the same show, the Ants Marching snippet. This was kind of, I don't know, this came out rough. And then what happened? Oh, this was also another awesome show, Black Keys. I was right at the pit. Lowers. I was lowers for the Black Keys. Oh, Woodstock, yeah. I mean, I'm right behind the pit. I'm like the first row behind the pit. That was an awesome show. And then this is A-Rod. Oops. What my attitude? No. This is really the show that kind of changed everything for me. They played Running Down a Dream in that's 6/7/2013. So June 7, 2013, Hartford Night 1. That was the debut of Running Down a Dream. They played it a couple more times that year, then they stopped playing it, and then they played it as a tribute to Tom Petty, like the first show after he died. But this show really was when I started recording more stuff. This was The Lovely Ladies Came. This is 6/7/14. This is a year from that June 7th, 13th show. So I literally a year later, after my first recordings, this was a year later, 14. Lovely Ladies came on for D&B 2 sets on the second set, and they did the Everyday Reprise to Long Black Bed. Mansfield got two long black veils, like 13 and 14. They got them back-to-back years. So this was another big moment for me. And then And oh, this is the one Copper Pot, bro. This song is super. This is Butterfly. This was night two. I mean, this was Hartford, night one. And Copper Pot used a little bit of this for his video. Loving Wings. Yeah, I haven't heard Loving Wings. I'd love to hear it. This was for a movie. Butterfly was made for a movie. And then, what is it? Yeah, I mean, I had what every day, and it's acoustic set. Oh, excuse me. And this was another big one for me. Was this? This was Virginia. This is the first Virginia in the Rain. I had no idea what this song was, but I just was in the pit. This is my first pit show. I just put my camera on it. This is one of the highest viewed DMB videos. I think it may be the highest. And it was hard because I'm 5'7" at the back of the pit trying to get this camera to see what's going on. Yeah, Running Down a Dream. Is it the best? No, there's definitely much more better songs from Petty. But it was cool that it was a debut. Yeah, like you see this, my camera, this was bad footage, but it was just like, hey, it was, you got to see what Tim was doing. All right, have a good night, DMB mamas. This song is special to me because for many reasons, but one of the reasons is because my dad was born in Virginia. My grandparents just celebrated 65 years of marriage. My dad's parents. And actually what's funny is my dad's been married for 34 years and my uncle's been married for 41 years. So two of their children, one's been married for 34 years, one's been married for 41 years, and they just hit 65. Anyway, so this song is special because it makes me remember it makes me think about going to Virginia as a kid and actually I made some trips in 2019 and this year. And this year, when I went to Virginia, my grandma's cousin, his name's Tweezer, that's his nickname. His real name is Cornelius. But he was my quarantine buddy. We both live alone. His wife passed away in the early 90s. And he still just stayed in the same house, same neighborhood. But anyway, I got my vaccine shot, went to Virginia, and I went to his gravesite. He was in the Navy. So we went to a military cemetery out there in Virginia Beach area and went to his grave and just sat there. It was emotional because, again, he passed last year in September. And every month we would call each other during the pandemic and just have a conversation. And I met him in 2019. He's been my Facebook. Anyway, so I went to his gravesite, and the night that I went to his the day I went to his gravesite, that night it rained. And I played this song in my hotel, and I made a video. I played it in my hotel song, but it was just like a sign from him. Anyway, I don't want to get too emotional, but it was a special moment because I'm like, it wasn't raining before that. And then right after I got home, yeah, you don't see marriages lasting long. But I'll tell you this, when you guys probably, most of you may be older than me, but I'll tell you this, when you have, oh, Richard, these are all my videos. Like everything that you're seeing on here, I shot at a show or at a baseball game. Anyway, I'll say this about marriage is, if you have an example for marriage, you're more likely to have, or if you make a decision to do what someone doesn't do. I believe actually marriage is at an all marriage divorce rates in 2019 are at like an all-time low. As much as people say it's like, as much as people say that there's all this stuff about divorces and all this stuff, what is it? I just was looking this up. So in 1970, there were 14.9 divorces per 1,000 people. In 2020, it was 15.5. Right? The peak was about 23 or 24 in 1980. But we're at like, it hasn't, the divorce rate hasn't been this low since 1970. Oh, Richard, you're looking at it right here, Concert Viz 34. This is my YouTube channel. This is what you're seeing. This is my, anyway, I'll say this though, is that when people make conscious decisions, oh, congratulations, Richard. So 7th year wedding anniversary is August 31st. But I'm still single right now, but I'm in a relationship. I'm very confident that the way things are going right now, I think that I've met the one. Anyway, I don't want to get to that, but I'll tell you this, and this isn't about DMB really, but I think it's important to talk about when people make conscious decisions to vet the people they're with. It takes a little bit of luck. I will say that. But my grandfather, my dad's parents, my grandfather didn't grow up with his father in the house. But he made a decision never to do what he did. He made a decision not to take substances like his father did. And not only was he a father to my parents, he was a pastor for years and years and years. And Christy, you say it's the Bronx, and a lot of divorce is based on finances. New York City is not cheap to live. I have a friend that lives in Astoria. Now, I'm 2 hours from New York City, so I know people. My grandfather's father was from New York City, or was out there at some point. But the thing is, if you have examples of marriage, doesn't have to be your direct family. If you have examples of marriage, if you take time before you have a family, before you have children, because that complicates a lot of people just get married, and it's right or wrong, right? But if you have and people make mistakes, it's not the end all be all, right? But the problem is that we put other things before marriage, right? People will are not afraid to have a child. They're more afraid of getting married than having a child, right? People will get a degree. They'll vet will do more for their degree, their PhD, than they will for vetting the person they're with. Love is never enough. Love will only get you as far as your commitment, your duty, and your willingness to work through hard times. And what I've learned from my grandparents and my parents, both sets of my grandparents, my grandfather, my mom's father just passed last year, but both of the sides of them, they could have easily broken up decades ago. But they made a decision to for better or for worse through some really hard things. And ultimately, what I'll say, as somebody who comes from seeing both of his sets of grandparents be married, one until the one just passed, and one set of grandparents for 65 years, and then seeing my parents plan a life for me before they even had me, right? Because a lot of people just have a kid, they pump out a kid real quick and they're not ready. My parents still had ups and downs, but before they had me, they got married, they got some of their finances together, and they had me. And by the way, they support each other. You know, a lot of what's wrong with dating and a lot of what's wrong with people is your parents were bad examples. Your father wasn't there. Your mother babied you, right? My parents showed me what true love was, but also what true commitment to your kids are. And once you get the finances down, which my parents did, and they had stuff they had to work on, but they got the finances down, then they had me. I think the problem is people don't get those finances down. They have a bunch of kids. They say, oh, let's have another kid. Out of, let's just, maybe another kid will make it better. They have too many kids they can't afford. They live beyond, one of the things about my parents, they never lived beyond their means. My dad and mom, they've never owned a luxury car in their life. They could buy one, right? They put money aside for me that I still have saved and invested in the market, in the mutual funds, not the stock market, in mutual funds, safe bets, right? They taught me different things that the love equals sacrifice amongst other things. The problem is people are in love, but they don't want to sacrifice. People fall in love and they don't have an idea. They don't see the warning signs of the person they're with showing them that they're not worthy to be married to. And we have a lot of people in this current old and young. You look at what's going on with Steph Curry's parents, and I wish them the best. But you have a lot of distractions. You could go on social media right now and meet someone 3,000 miles away and talk to them and get pictures and FaceTime them. It wasn't like that 20, 30 years ago. You were limited in your options. What I find is a lot of women and a lot of men don't. The problem I find before, in my current relationship is there's a lot of people that are flakes. They'll be into you for 5 minutes, right? For 30 minutes, and then they're bored. They want to have the next thing. They want to have we're in the next Netflix generation, even for older people, right? You could say, oh, back in their day, they didn't. Well, now they do, right? And I think that's the thing, is having the commitment, not being tired of the person, but really seeing success. I saw success. So that's why I'm not married, right? That's why I didn't marry certain people and they're not in my life anymore, because even though they were, I cared about them, they weren't the right person for me. They were right for somebody else. But I was able to see these things because my parents, through their actions, showed me, okay, this is what a marriage looks like. It's duty over everything. Right. And some people have kids for money, and that's the problem. And people have kids. The biggest thing, and this is not to knock, but people have kids. When you have a kid and you don't have a ring on your finger, you're setting yourself up for fire. Now, yes, a lot of marriages do fall apart. There are divorces that happen. But if you have to get right with the person you're with, if they're not willing to commit to marriage, which is a risk, because if you divorce, it's not easy. If they can't take that step with you, why should you have their child? Period. I say marry before you're. And look, I know people make mistakes. I work with children every Saturday that don't have fathers in their life. And that's not to say, look, there's a lot of people do that, right? But the point is, I get it. People make mistakes. You can still rehabilitate. But if you do it right, if you get yourself together, start dating, get married, and then move in with that person, get to know them, and then have a kid, you're less, I think it's like 8%, you're 8% likely to be in poverty. If you don't have kids before 20, if you don't move in with your spouse until you're married, and look, if you want to do it before, that's fine. But it's like, I can't remember what it was. It was like AEI and another group did a research. But that's really what it is. My parents didn't have, they didn't have a bajillion dollars. They had to work and grind in their careers to get where they're at, right? They didn't have all this money when they started off, but they did things. They built each other up. They made each other better. And I'm the net result of that. Not Boys and Girls Club. It's a group. It's a community thing at my church that I help young men, elementary school to high school. I do more middle school. But anyway, I will say all that. I know I'm rambling and have you like, yo, what are you talking about? But I really, honestly, if you look at what's going on in this world, what's hurting people is the fact that we don't know how to do relationships, right? No matter who you love, gay, straight, whatever, we do not know how to do committed relationships. Period. Like, people are afraid and people are hurt and people are fractured and people don't get counseling. That's the other thing too. A lot of and people talk about men need counseling. A lot of women do not stay in counseling. They don't stay in. They go for a couple of sessions and they leave. And men necessarily don't always get that counseling. But I think it's important. If you've had a traumatic experience in your life, you need to talk that out with the professional, or you need to figure out how to do it. Like, there's so much hurt. And the thing is with me, the reason I'm this happy-go-lucky is because I had adversity in my childhood. I faced a lot of different things, but I always had my parents there as backbones, and they also let me make to an extent, they let me learn through my adversity. They didn't shelter me too much. They would shelter, obviously, like, yeah, don't hang out with these people. Like, I couldn't go to certain stuff, but they allowed me to learn through my adversity. And a lot of what's wrong with take some shrooms, right? And right, it build each other up. And then also, what do you bring to the table? I think that's the other biggest thing. What do you bring to the table for a relationship? The problem is, women think they bring their body, they bring this, and that, or they bring their job. I'll tell you a secret, women. We don't care about your money. We don't. Now, if a guy cares about your money, then that's the wrong guy, because they're trying to leech off you, right? I don't care if the person I'm with makes more money than me or less money than me. I care about their principles. I care about who they are. People, if you really think about it, if someone asks you, what do you bring to a relationship? Can you answer that question? And not just be how you look or this or that. A lot of people nowadays, they can't tell you what they bring, right? They may make up this fake stuff. Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. What do you bring to a relationship? Because the problem is, beauty will fade. Let's be honest, beauty will fade, looks will fade, especially if you have kid or you get older, right? It can't just be because they look good, because that'll be done real quick. What connection can you share? What do you do? Because a lot of people, I don't want to do this, this, and this for my partner while we're dating, because they have to earn it. Well, how are you going to show them? You have to give them, you have to do things for them, right? You have to help them, make a meal for them, take them out somewhere special. It doesn't have to be $1 bajillion. People are not willing to give and risk and show kindness to others. And they have this wall up, and you can't talk to me, and everyone's a creep. If you don't give something, or if you can't contribute anything, no one's going to want, there's very, very attractive people in this world that get nowhere because, or they realize, why am I alone at this age? Is because you probably aren't contributing. And it's not everyone. There's a lot of good people that just happen not to be married. But to me, it's, people can't answer that question. What do you contribute, right? What do you contribute to a relationship? Anyway, that's just how I feel about all that. But I really think if people made manifest, right, the trauma will. And that's why you have to figure out how to grow and learn from it. And you have to, a lot of people, you gotta put yourself out there. And look, you still may get burnt. And you have to, your attitude will attract certain people. Because I hear it all the time, like, I'm a nice guy. Oh, nice. I hear a lot of nice guys complaining, why is this, and that, and that? A lot of times your attitude is attracting certain people. Like, if you're attracting all these crazy dudes who are up to no good, there's probably something about you that's attracting all these screw up boys. Like, same thing with girls. If the only girls that are coming to you are these crazy girls, something about where you are, right? Where are you looking, right? You looking in the club, right? Are you networking? What's your friend base? A lot of times too, like my parents met through mutual friends in college. What is your friend base like, right? What do they value? What do they, and it's not, look, it's still hard. Right? I'm still not married, but at the end of the day, when you have these building blocks, and when you put time and invest into this, and when you take chances, like if you don't go out on dates, then you're not going to be able to, have a chance. You still may never get married, but at least you got to try. Love is a risk. And then other people say, oh, I'm working on myself. I've heard people say, I'm working on myself. All right, when's the last time you've been on a date? 5 years ago. What? You've been working on yourself for a long time. So anyway, all right, we just ramble. Y'all got me rambling about it. I self rambled into that. But anyway, we're hitting 2 hours. Thank you guys for staying on, right? Thank you guys. It's always great to talk to you guys. Christy, welcome to the chats, and hopefully we'll see you. I'll be on tomorrow as well to talk a little Railbird, but it probably will be pretty brief. But Richard, thank you so much. Yeah, take these chances. But thank you guys for being on, and have a good night. This is all I got for you guys this evening. All right, peace.